Hi everyone, and welcome to today's tutorial on the Assistant, the main application, the first application of Delos. Before diving deep into the application, just a quick preview on security-wise. On the Assistant and all the whole platform, we use generative AI, LLMs, large language models. You're going to have some ChatGPT, some Mistral, some Claude and Anthropic, for instance, and any of the best ones that come out. That's a big advantage that we have. Of course, security-wise and for enterprise-wise, we all have this data stored in secure cloud in France for the majority, but if you're using Delos from the US, from the Middle East, or for any part of the world, we have different clouds based in different locations, every time highly secure with absolutely no training on your data. It's a big point to precise, and if you want any more information on security and how we manage that, please feel free to reach out to us. Going on the Assistant, when you're from the homepage of Delos, you see this first main chat bar that you can find that you recognize from the Assistant. If you ask any question from here, you're going to go straight to the Assistant and save a click. So let's ask anything. For instance, tell me about the League of Delos, which is where our company had its name. As you can see, I was sent right into the Assistant. I can send very easily any one of the answers of my assistant with this little button Scribe directly to Scribe. It's going to allow me to edit directly on the text. There's a whole video dedicated for Scribe tutorials. Clicking there, it's going to directly open a new Scribe. Let's start a new conversation just to go back to the basics. Why do I start a new conversation? Because every time that I talk with the assistant is as if I was having a conversation with almost a human being. I'm going to ask a question, he's going to give me an answer. The more I'm precise in my question, the more he is going to be precise in his answer. Imagine him as a junior that knows a lot of things, but sometimes answers just a bit off if you're not precise enough. Every time you ask a question, the assistant with his AI models is going to go through his knowledge, go through your question, and go through the whole conversation that you guys have been having. So he's going to read every one of the elements. It's what you call the context in a conversation. There's different elements, different ways to play with the context, to be more precise, to add some stuff so that it's more adapted to you, and we're going to see that throughout the video. Let's go on the different buttons that you have. First, a few ideas on the different functionalities that you're going to find. Here, if you create a button, he's going to ask, generate an image, for instance, of a dancing horse. Why not? He's going to take a few seconds and generate the image. The more you're precise, the more you're going to have an image that's going to be adapted to you, of course. Voila, there is a very actually impressive dancing horse. New conversation, I'm changing the subject. I don't want him to go and read everything every time because it is a new subject. Back on the home page of the assistant, you can find this first button that's going to allow you to activate or deactivate the access to your memory. We're going to see that in a few moments. To access real-time information and sourced information from throughout the assistant. And the mode echo, that's going to deactivate the fact that he's going to read the whole conversation every time. He's only going to read the last few interactions. That's for it to be more economic and ecological on that instance, reducing the context. On the Mistral button, you're going to access different LLMs with which you're going to interact. ChatGPT, Mistral, Claude, it updates very often, and you're going to have the best one at the moment. If you activate this Mistral button, we're going to automatically select the best one depending on your question. If you have your little favorites, you can deactivate it and, for instance, choose Claude if that's the one you prefer. Following that, we have the prompt. That's the advanced personalization of the platform. There's a whole video on this subject. I'll refer you to that one if you want to see how to personalize, share, create your own prompts. Little plus is to import documents from your computer or from the Docs application. And finally, the memory system on which you're going to be able to give information on the profile, what you do, your company profile, the projects you're working on, your communication preferences, any tasks and memory item that you want to store and access easily through the assistant. These are elements that are going to be added to the context when you interact with the assistant. The idea is for him to be as close to what you do as possible on a daily basis. So I invite you guys to fill in the information so that he's going to be more precise in his answers. With the assistant, you're going to be able to ask quite a lot of elements, generating images, generating documents, searching on internet, generating some code, idea for some Excel formula, just idea for your post, your LinkedIn post or whatever. Assistant is going to help you work through every one of your daily tasks. The whole idea is to communicate with it precisely, to have a conversation. If you're satisfied, that's great on the first go. If you want to go a little bit further or to change a bit the way he's answered, just tell him and he's gonna apply the orders. Now, something that we're gonna dive a little bit deeper in is the possibility to generate your very own mini websites. How does that work? Well, you simply have to ask him to generate anything in HTML because that's the code type for a website. For instance, generate a quiz on the Delian League. And he's going to do exactly that. Generate the quiz, take a little bit of time. He's going to open, as you see, what we call artifacts. Take a little time to generate his code. Perfect, there we go. We have a little quiz. As you can see, I can ask a few questions. Let's say, where was the Delian League? Let's say maybe it was 470. There we go. Next. Primary purpose, it was to defend Greece. There we go. Next, I have a total of 10 questions. We can go on quite a bit. Well, there we go. That was a miss. Quite nice. Now let's say that, well, I'm using AI, so it's nice, but I still want to improve it. So let's say I'll just ask him to add 5 more questions and a little bit more aesthetics for a great vibe. I sent, and he's going to do exactly that. So that's how you interact with AI. You get a first option, then you're going to ask just to try and improve it as it goes. And just like that, he has added 5 questions, and I have a bit more of a Greek vibe with the font that has changed, with a bit of the looks, etc., etc. And we can just go on, iterate, maybe add difficulties, add questions. Well, it's a website, so you can do basically anything. What's going to be interesting is this little button here to save it. If you want to save it, you can just define it. Let's say Delos League quiz, and save it. Now that I have saved it, I can publish it and share it to anyone with this link that's going to open it to this view and use it himself if it's a quiz. But if it's, let's say, a tool to calculate revenue, to calculate anything that you're going to be able to do often. And you can also find it easily yourself directly from your web apps. And the web apps you can just find, click on the quiz and find the one that you have just created. And that wraps it up for the assistant. Now you have all the keys in hand to discover, try, test, iterate, and see how the assistant can change your daily life. Thanks for listening and see you soon on Delos.